Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm down here chilling at my favorite spot, and I just thought I'd ask you guys a question. How do you feel about homeless people? What is your interpretation of a homeless person? So just throwing it out there. What do you think? How do you stereotype them? Or excuse me, do you stereotype them? Um, when I say how, most people do stereotype them. So I shouldn't say how do you, assuming you're all encompassed in one category. That's probably not a real cool thing to do. It's not realistic. But do you stereotype homeless people? My friend Tish Ross, excuse me, Tish Ross. I get all tongue tied when I get all flabbergasted. Tish Ross, with that, no judgment here with Tish Ross. Um, recently had a discussion about homelessness and stuff like that with somebody that was kind of going through that, and some affiliations that were trying to help with that process. So it's kind of like it really touched my heart, and I was really captivated by watching that. Um, so I'm just kind of curious. What are your thoughts? Do you think people are evil because they're homeless, or do you think they have an addiction? Do you think they're just stupid? Just put it out there. Quite frankly, I mean, there's all categories of homelessness, in my opinion. Is it something that happened through the VA system, like if they're military related veteran? Is there deficiencies in that VA system? I'm sorry, the wind kind of started kicking up and some stuff's hitting the shelter here. So you may be hearing a little bit of like pinging noise on the tin roof here. But what are your thoughts on homelessness? Um, it sucks. It's like um, when I watched when Tish Ross had her podcast, and the people were talking there about somebody who was like once upon a time was like I forget the exact title position, but he was like a CEO of a company, or made like six digits and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, due to health problems with his wife and stuff like that, and whatever it was just like now all of a sudden he was pretty much living on the streets with his kids, trying to keep them alive. I think if I remember right, I think the wife may have passed away, but it's just crazy. It's like the only message I have for you is everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different story. It could be a valid story. It could be an invalid story. You can place judgment where you want, where you will. But I promise you, from me to you, if you've never suffered, trying to choose my words correctly here, if you've never suffered that ordeal of having to be homeless and literally fight for your survival, then you're missing a whole new experience. I don't wish it upon people, but if you have a judgment, if you're judgmental on people who are homeless, you need to change your whole new way of thinking. Because when you look at that person, it's not just somebody that you may think could be on drugs. They could be on drugs, but they may have a different story. They Are they intoxicated? They could be intoxicated, or there's so many different ways people become homeless. It's not just the stereotypical thought that we all interpret. We all think happens. Well, you're just a loser in society. It's not always the case. Um, I've said, recently, like I I am kind of homeless, but I don't really consider myself homeless until my van breaks down. I consider myself a working homeless person. And it's like weird. It's like when I talk about homelessness and when I talk about it, I, I I'm okay with it. When other people refer to me as a homeless person, I get pissed off. I truly get pissed off because it's to me that's associated with a negative connotation. I go to work early every day. I don't miss work. I go to work. I'm there early. I stay late, and I'm really trying to change my situation. And there's a lot of different factors involved that I don't want to get into all the drama, the family drama, but there is some family drama. So every person could have a different situation, a different story. So, like it's so weird because recently, in the last few days, I've had encounters with some what I assume would be homeless people and that are a little bit worse off than I am. And it really broke my heart because I was not, because lately I've been struggling very, very much financially. But it breaks my heart when I can't help a fellow homeless person, Like we may have two different stories, we're totally different, but being homeless is not a crime, you know. It's crazy. It's like, and to be honest with you, I'm going to say something like totally like what you would consider batshit crazy, but I can understand why some people who are homeless would commit a crime. They're so desperate, it comes down to survival. All these people say, like, hey, just go to XYZ shelter. They give, there's only a short window of opportunities for all these churches, and they give certain things, and it's yes, it's helpful. It does. Matter of fact, a lot of those shelters, which are really cool, that help people who are low income and stuff like that. That's really good. If you have four walls and a roof and you can cook pasta and stuff like that. Homeless people don't really have all those living conditions. So I just thought I'd share that. You know, everybody's on a different level. It doesn't make people bad or evil. Uh, Sometimes I can honestly uh, give my own testimony. Sometimes living like primitive, like right now, it looks like I'm living the good life, and today I am living the good life. But there's days like it's just you hate life. You hate life because you know that you're not going to eat for 2 or 3 days, or if you eat, you're barely going to eat. You're going to lose weight. Your malnutrition is going to mess with your head, your brain, your sensibilities, stuff like that. So I can't imagine what it would be like to live outdoors, like totally primitive, like probably for the rest of your life if you were not rendered assistance. So it's crazy. Like even like in my van, like I can't run the van all the time. Like a lot of people think like, oh, well, you have a van, like Betty White's your hotel. No, it's like if I can't run the air conditioning, it's like an oven in there. It's hotter in there than it is out here. So so basically, all I'm saying is just like, yeah, man, just when you see a homeless person, it could be a veteran, it could be somebody with a totally different story than what you expected. And ironically, here's a follow up to some homeless incident I tried to portray in a positive way. Um, I've talked about the local homeless guy in Zachary and Milton area, and that my attempt to donate a bike failed miserably. But I'm going to try and end this video on a positive note. Yesterday, when I was at work, I work at a grocery store, and a lady I noticed she was pulling like massive amounts of like canned foods off the shelf, and all that. So I kind of got talking to her because it kind of piqued my curiosity. I was like, that's not normal. It wasn't like, I didn't mean it like that's not normal, like she was going to steal the stuff. She looked like a really nice lady. So I got talking to her. I said, hey, just out of curiosity, what's happening? Is there any way I perhaps help you? Let me let me lead you to the we have an aisle in the store that has bulk canned foods that usually is considerably cheaper. So we got talking, and then when we got to that aisle, there was another young man, and I didn't realize they were together. We got talking, and they have a mission, and they feed uh, like massive amounts of people. Like I think they said like 6 times a year. Don't quote me on the amount of times, but we got talking. So I started talking, and they were, they're like a Christian based organization, and they're doing stuff for the homeless, which I'm passionate about that. So then they were talking, asked me what church I go to, and I kind of deferred that, because anybody who's watching knows, like, I believe in a lot of church organizations. Let's just put it that way. Um, I have my beliefs on how they should act, and it's not a derogatory statement towards anybody. I just have my own opinions. I'm just an old dude with my opinion. Plus, I'm a Leo, so that makes me stubborn. But what I will tell you is, so we got talking, and then I got to mention the incident about the bike, and I said, hey, by chance, my attempt to do this kind gesture with the bike failed. Could you help me out in any regard? It seems like you're good people. You're taking care of the homeless and stuff like that. I say, it's available. My storage unit's right here in Pace, Florida. If you want it, it's there for you. It's just like, I just want to continue to do my part. And they were really appreciative and stuff like that. They invited me to come out to their. I don't remember the name of it. I don't know where it is and stuff like that. But irregardless, these people are doing what I believe in: keeping people alive, feeding the homeless. To me, that should be the foundation of our country. Keeping other people alive, people helping other people. You know, everybody's going to have their different beliefs on Christianity and religion and being pious and not pious, or there's all these different terms you can throw out there. But people helping people, to me, should be the basic foundation of our society. And I'm so happy to meet these people. Matter of fact, when I went into work today I was off just to buy a couple cheap groceries when I'm out here trying to chill out in the forest. The gentleman that was with the lady, he recognized me. He was in different attire, and he acknowledged me by name, and we started talking. And really cool dude. I feel like I met some really good people. Also, I met Pastor Lee and all the people at his church. Really good people there too. So I'm not throwing shade on anybody. I just love when the Spirit comes from your heart. You can call it what you want, but if you're helping other people, I feel that's most important. That's how I feel. That's my opinion. People helping people. I'm going to end this chit chat, this lengthy chit chat, with that statement. So if you have any thoughts, share them.